presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are San Diego.
5 weeks from tonight, San Diego will host the 2016 Major League All-Star Game. Tonight at Petco, the Atlanta Braves. That ball hit well to right field. Deep, back, Solarte, touch 'em all. Solarte's 3-run home king, a 7-2 win last night. Here's our pitching matchup. Game 2, Colin Ray seeks his 4th win of the season against 24-year-old Aaron Blair of the Braves. He is 0-4 as a rookie right-hander. As we welcome you to Petco Park with Mark Sweeney, Dick Ember, we're pleased that you're here. The Padres with that 7-2 win last night, and now are 4-2 on the homestand.
And a good homestand to boot. And you know what they have to do. They have to score some runs and also get good pitching. That's the formula to win games.
And the hitters have come through here in June, especially the top 4 in the lineup.
Well, that really proves its worth as well. And you can see they have to score runs. It's the formula. Get ahead, play ahead, get to the bullpen where you can get those matchups. And that really has been the best formula for the Padres as of late.
And here is the top of the order when you take Jay and then Myers and Kemp and Solarte as a group. They're hitting .416.
And you think about it, Dick, what has to happen is you have to have a leadoff guy that's unselfish, will have good at-bats against left-handers and also hit very well because you have to score runs with 2 outs. John Jay has been phenomenal. Yangervis Solarte has come off the disabled list. He's given them a spark, and it's given them some protection for Matt Kemp in the middle of the order. If you're going to score runs, it's going to be middle of the order, and the top 4 guys have been phenomenal.
Yeah, Myers has been terrific, and Matt Kemp is in the top 5 in both home runs and RBIs in the National League. So isn't it nice to talk about hitters with the San Diego Padres? Well, another hitter coming up, but he's in the Atlanta uniform. He was with the Padres at one time. Popular Jeff Francoeur. We'll chat with Julie when we return.
about to get underway for Game 2. Well, Jeff Francoeur makes his way back here to Petco with the team that gave him his Major League start, the Braves, back in 2005. He was part of the Baby Braves. Well, now 12 Major League seasons later, he has made his return to the team and here at Petco. He did play for the Padres back in 2014, and as he said, he's looking forward to seeing some familiar faces. Take a listen.
Honestly, a lot of the coaches, Hoffy, Eddie Rodriguez was my coach in Kansas City, and we've always remained close. And, you know, so it's good seeing some of those guys. And, of course, you know, BJ, we grew up playing together. Sorry, Melvin.
That's
Melvin
right.
Upton.
He has changed his name.
Officially changed. I'll still call him BJ. we grew up playing together some, too, and travel ball and different stuff. So it's always good to see these guys. And, like I said, it's fun being out here.
Well, Jeff Francoeur certainly having a renaissance of a season as he is hitting .360, and such a great guy. Great to have him back. Always good to catch up with him. Coming up, the Braves and the Padres playing Game 2 of the 3-game set coming up.
Ball brought to you by Ford of Escondido. Get the car to fit your needs with quality customer service. By Petco, your complete pet store. By Mercury Insurance, we're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today. And by SeaWorld. Enter tonight's keyword, SEAL, on the Ways to Win page at foxsportssandiego.com. Joey Bosa, the #1 draft pick of the San Diego Chargers, showing his athletic skill with a glove here at Petco Park. As we're set to go, Colin Ray and the Padres take the field as they look for their 5th win on 7 games of this homestand. A check of the weather, 65 degrees and just a mild overcast here tonight as we welcome you aboard for Game 2. The Atlanta Braves, worst hitting team in baseball, and the Padres hope to keep it that way. And here's their lineup, brought to you by Hyundai. INCIARTE leads it off with Darno, had 3 hits last night. Freddie Freeman at first base. Nick MARKAKIS, the veteran outfielder, bats cleanup. Kelly Johnson hits 5th in front of A.J. Brzezinski. The catcher, Daniel Castro. And then the pitcher, Aaron Blair, inserted into the 8th spot in the batting order by manager Brian Snitker. And Malik Smith, a former Padre minor leaguer, hits ninth.
Padres scouting report brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. And for Colin Ray making his 11th start, 7th at home. Got to be economical early when his starts. When he sets the tone early, it's very good. And bring out the Uncle Charlie, the curveball. These Atlanta Braves showed that they had trouble with that curveball last night.
Leadoff hitter INCIARTE settles in, and the first pitch of the game is taken for a strike, a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Against left-handed batters, Ray this year, 214 average against. Right-handers having more success, 282. INCIARTE off to a slow start. Former Diamondback hit over 300 last year in Arizona.
Yeah, it looked last night that he wanted to slap the ball to left field. So you take a look at the picture on that big board. It's zombie night here at the ballpark.
Yeah, a lot of fans have been waiting all through the winter and first 2 months to get to the zombie night. I guess that's why Mark Grant isn't with us. No, I'm just kidding.
I actually felt like a zombie coming to the ballpark today.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just was, I started sliding and slurring my words, but also sliding my legs. I didn't have pep in my step coming to the yard.
Swing and a miss, strike three. That's the way to get started. Ray strikes out INCIARTE swinging. Padres defense brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Here's Matt Kemp in right with Jay in center and Upton in left field. On the infield, Ramirez at shortstop, Wallace at third, right side, Solarte at second, and Myers at first, and Norris behind the plate. Chase Darno hitting .333, limited at bats, just 75, but 25 hits. Darno and his younger brother Travis, a catcher with the Mets. Roller to first, right to the bag for Myers for the second out. Now, who was the model for our bobblehead zombie?
I was. I came into the yard. They took a quick photo. This is how I felt. Like, you see that big boot?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was dragging my foot.
You only got one shoe. That's the problem. But look, you got the baseball going. That's for usual.
You got to have the baseball, for sure. That's how I felt, though. Check out the eyes. It's a great zombie. It's a good look.
If you
Maybe we'll touch it for luck tonight.
If you say so. We'll keep it right up here, and you can survey the scene. Freddie Freeman. They tell us that he was very ill last night. Still came out to play. Struck out 3 times and flied to center. His average far below his norm, about 40 points lower than you would expect. Leads in home runs with 9. And that's so surprising. We mentioned last night to hit 9 home runs. Shows you how little base traffic this poor hitting Atlanta Braves team has.
Yeah,
16 RBIs with 9 home runs.
And for Freddie Freeman, just trying to put it all on your shoulders, that's a huge responsibility. They're going to have to get protection and some hitters behind him.
One lifted foul, and it's 2-1. This is the worst start in Braves franchise history in 105 years. As you look at the umpiring crew with Lance Barksdale calling the balls and strikes. Angel Hernandez at first, Will Little at second, and the crew chief Ted Barrett over at third.
Lance Barksdale is known for having a consistent strike zone. Also down in the zone at times.
That ball hit well, slicing down into Souvenir corner and well back. That was almost home run distance to the opposite field.
Souvenir.
Fan of Andrew Kashner there came up with the ball and with a Notre Dame hat. Maybe a fan of yours. Or is that Notre Dame? Maybe not. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Off the plate. 91 on the fastball.
Well, Colin Ray early in this game has been very aggressive inside. Let's see if he goes inside to Freddie Freeman.
And he loses them too far inside, and the first base runner, free ticket to Freeman, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter Nick Markakis. former Baltimore Oriole, hitting just .243, but leading the team in RBIs with 31.
With this offense, you're seeing the home runs, and the stats do not lie. Only 23 home runs as a team to this point.
In 57 games, 23 homers. And the ball flies in Atlanta. Breaking ball in there, right in the heart of the plate. .32 years old, from Woodstock, Georgia, Markakis. .155 career home runs, but only one this year. Not hit that deep, but Kemp is going back, and by golly, it does go off the wall. Didn't have a real good sound, and running with 2 outs all the way from first is Freeman, and the Braves lead 1-0. Oh, that one fooled me. The sound, thought he got it up on the trademark, but he was able to muscle it all the way to the wall and right for an RBI double.
Well, the veteran left-handed hitter has been watching on the on-deck circle with Colin Ray trying to work it inside, and he pulls his hands inside nicely, getting the barrel to the baseball. Kept on carrying to right and just rifles off the middle of that right field wall.
Kemp's past Kemp, and that allowed Freeman to score all the way from first. And just as the Braves scored first last night, so do they tonight. Same formula, a walk and a double. Kelly Johnson, the veteran second baseman, takes strike one. Getting .243. Make that .222 for Johnson. He too with only 1 home run. Skips that one in, and a new ball out to Colin Ray. Andy Green looking to do something special in this 3-game series with the Braves. Come up with a sweep. Ripped to second base and right at Solarte, fortunately, for the final out. But on a walk and a double, the Braves take the lead in the first. And Norris had in mind another breaking ball.
Keep your foot on the accelerator and put them down to game 1.
And the Padres last night, after giving up a run in the first inning, tied it in the first and went on to a lead 4-1 on the 3-run homer from Solarte and settled for a 7-2 victory. And now against the young right-hander Aaron Blair, the lineup for the Padres identical to that last night with the exception of the pitcher Colin Ray, Jay, Myers, Kemp, Solarte, Upton, Wallace, Norris, Ramirez, and Ray.
Scouting report brought to you by Scripps. And for Aaron Blair, the 24-year-old is making his 8th career start. He was in the trade coming over from Arizona. Sinker, slider, changeup, also a curveball, but doesn't throw it that much. An erratic command in the strike zone.
One of the many young players, Atlanta sending their veteran high money players off to other teams and collecting 2, 3, even 4 young players in return. And here's one of them. Blair, along with INCIARTE, Dansby Swanson, who was the Diamondbacks #1 draft pick a year ago, come to the Braves for the right-hander Shelby Miller, who's been a disappointment with Arizona.
Well, something to watch tonight. A.J. Brzezinski, the veteran catcher. Watch his target.
Jay flares that one down toward the crowd and back about 4 or 5 rows.
You'll see him set up, and like anybody else, trying to set up that target where you want the pitcher to execute his plan. And he's going to shift his glove a lot. Aaron Blair doesn't have that pinpoint control, but he relies on that heavy sinker. This is a guy that threw 95 most times in Arizona Diamondbacks organization, and you're going to see him right around 91, 92 mostly with his fastball.
Swing and a miss. He gets Jay to open his first inning. And that'll bring up Will Myers. He's from Las Vegas, Blair. Fans over in Las Vegas, Nevada have long been subscribing to our Fox Sports San Diego telecasts. And we salute them. And I know many of you watching tonight have watched Blair grow up. And grow up he has, 6'4" and 250. Myers, last 12 games, hitting at a .386 pace, 3 home runs. Brzezinski makes that pitcher sound good, doesn't he? Really gives that loud pop on the reception of the ball. Yeah, that's a lot of man coming at you from that pitcher's slab.
6'4", 250.
All legs. Outside, 2-1.
Oh, Christian Friedrich last night, what a performance, 6 2/3, and you can see the numbers. The 7 Ks had really a lot of success with that curveball last night.
And he'll be pitching next in Colorado, a team that employed him for a few years. Myers isn't scary even when they try to zombie him up.
Surprised he's not smiling in his zombie picture.
And ball 4. Well, the Padres get a 1-out walk. That was the walk that led to the Braves run in the top half of the inning. Braves defense features Markakis in right field with INCIARTE in center and Smith in left. Around the horn, Arnaud, Castro, Johnson, and Freeman, with Brzezinski behind the plate for the big right-hander Blair. Matt Kemp, a couple of RBIs last night. Clubbed 4 home runs in the last 12 games to move into the top 5 in the league in both home runs and RBIs. Runner goes. He got a running start and he's in there. Boy, Myers took off long before Blair started his motion to the plate.
Well, great jump, and obviously this is on the scouting report. The catchers for the Atlanta Braves have not had too much success throwing out runners. Will Myers aggressively sliding, and that left hand on the outside part of the bag.
He just did catch the corner and halt his momentum. That's his 7th steal. He's second to Upton in that category. And it gives Kemp a chance to pick up another RBI. Runners in scoring position. He's been a money hitter. Good take, low, 2-1.
I think we talked about the catchers for the Atlanta Braves and not being successful throwing out runners. 6 for 47 in throwing out runners. That's not good enough at this big league level. A.J. Pierzynski understands that. He's at his end of his career. Tyler Flowers, now the starting catcher most nights, hasn't done much better.
2 balls and a strike to Kemp. And he takes away on the breaking ball. Well, good patience by Kemp. He's worked the count in his favor.
Always good to see him holding off on that slider. That's his nemesis when he is not going well. He just bought himself a much better pitch, 3-1.
Only 21% success throwing out runners, attempting to steal. Up the middle and through the shift, and here comes Myers around third. INCIARTE drops the ball, no harm done. The Padres tie it 1-1. Kemp delivers his 42nd RBI of the year.
Well, Matt Kemp yesterday was out working early, shortening his stroke and also using the big part of the field. Always when you work at something and then you can produce during the game, that always reinforces what you were working on. Matt Kemp continues to swing. Take a look how short that is to the baseball, but length through the baseball. Head right down and nice balance. I think the big key was that 2-1 pitch, the 2-1 slider that he held off. Then he gets a fastball.
And credit Myers, that stolen base put him in position for the RBI single. And just as they did last night, the Padres, after watching Atlanta score 1 in the top of the first, come back to tie it in the bottom half of the first inning. Well, that's always a good thing. Even if you're leading by 1 run, you're behind.
Yep.
And the other team's behind. You want to get rid of that psychological and real advantage, and that's what the Padres have done here. Don't let the Atlanta Braves think that they're going to run away.
Exactly right.
Solarte, the home run hero last night, a 3-run shot into the right field bleachers. As it turns out, it has been a very successful trade for the Padres, coming from the Yankees for Chase Headley. A lot of fans were upset, disappointed to see Headley go. Didn't know who Solarte was. Changeup. But he's come here, hit .270 last year, hit 14 homers.
Well, he's a difference maker, and yes, I think the fans of San Diego buy into people, and they remember that Chase Headley's second half that he had, where he put up huge numbers, and that's why you fall in love with him. But Solarte is a guy that you really want to have on your club. It's a glue of your club that you got to have.
Slow roller by the mound. Johnson will still get the force at second base on Kemp. And Kemp's surprised that on such a slow hit ball that Johnson gambled on going to second, but it works, and safe on a fielder's choice. Solarte. A look at the keys to the game tonight, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, the top of the order has got to stay hot. We've seen that already in the first inning with Will Myers walking, stealing, and then being driven in by Matt Kemp. They have to stay hot. And also Colin Ray, he needs to take that next step. Protect the bullpen with innings. It goes back to that start against the New York Mets where he threw 8 innings and only gave up 3 hits. That's what they need tonight.
Melvin Upton, ground ball through the shift. Able to work that one between the second baseman and shortstop. And the Padres have this first inning still alive. And Solarte goes to second, and Upton with the base hit. Well, the Padres have found the formula to score runs in the opening inning. How about that? 16 runs scored in the last 7 games in the first inning.
Well, that takes pressure off the starting pitching and also the bullpen. And if you can get a lead going into that 7th inning, there's been a lot of success for the Padres in winning ball games. Easier to manage with the lead as well.
Well, that's an understatement. Success if they're ahead after 7 innings. They haven't lost a game. Pulled by Wallace right to the bag, and Freeman with an easy out. And the Padres settle for 1 on a couple of hits. We go to the second, 1-1.
last night, and I think I got about 20 more coming tonight and 20 more tomorrow. So they kind of make a vacation out of it because it is an hour and a half from home from here. But in LA, I had about 30 there for all those 3 games. So it's been good to see everybody.
How much does it change things for you, knowing that you have family and friends in the stands?
Well, I would like to do good for them, but obviously it hasn't gone my way the last few days. But you know, it gives you extra energy to go out there and try and do well. But sometimes I could be a little bit too much pressure on myself, and I think I've been doing that lately because I just want to do so good for them.
Oh, that's SoCal native Freddie Freeman. He's from Villa Park. And guys, I feel so sorry for Freddie right now. He told me that he may have gotten some sort of food poisoning from a local restaurant he hit up in Orange County. He said he threw up about 7 times between yesterday and today. He said he's lost about 2 pounds, he thinks, but hopefully he's on the back end of that. He feels much better, but just not a great way to come to the ballpark when you're feeling so sick like that. So we do hope that he feels better. We wish him well.
We do too. His swing was a little ill last night.
Well, you think about it, you think of a home cooking. Obviously, it wasn't very good coming back home.
But who's counting 7 times?
Oh. Wow.
Top of the 2nd inning, Brzezinski leads it off and grounds that foul. Count 1-2. That's interesting that the 2 sides of playing in front of family and friends. On one side, they boost you up, you want to do well. On the other hand, maybe you try too hard.
Well, I've been on both sides of that, and obviously in my career, most of the time I only had 1 at bat. But I remember a situation.
Line drive left field. Upton charges and makes the catch. That ball was stung off the bat of Brzezinski.
Well, I had my brother come, and it was in Philadelphia. I ended up getting a spot start. And I go 0 for 4. I think I punched out twice. So after the game, I see him. I give him a hug. He goes, I don't know if I can come tomorrow. I don't want to be your bad luck charm. It's just one of those things. I think family thinks that they are the good luck charm. And then when it doesn't go their way, it's one of those things. I had plenty of 0 for 4s.
Yeah, the offers is part of baseball life.
Part of it.
Now, I want the honest answer here. When you played in a game and you knew family was there, did you gamble on seeing if they were there while you were playing during the game?
You know what's a strange thing? My mom and dad, I could hear them. You
Really?
know, it's just
You
one
can
of
hear
those
their
things. Yeah, I could hear my dad, and he wasn't that loud guy.
2-hopper to Solarte, and he takes care of Castro, 2 out.
But when they yelled something, I could actually hear them. Obviously, when you have 40,000 people, you're not going to hear them. But yeah, I was always aware that they were there, and it was that presence. I loved it. I absolutely loved when people were in the stands. It just gave me a little more motivation, a little pep in my step. Didn't feel like a zombie. Felt pretty good.
I think you could take that at nice tying in the zombie night. It's pertinent really to any young boy or girl all the way down to elementary school activities. I mean, I think back, if my dad wasn't there, I just didn't feel complete. I wanted him to be there to help me along, especially because when I got home, he had all these criticisms of my play. Yeah, what would I have done without
constructive criticisms?
Well,
obviously.
yeah, but even when I played well, he said, "Yeah, but your man scored more than you."
Well, there's always a motivation in front of it.
Yeah, that was the generation of fathers going through the Depression, and they were afraid that their sons and daughters would get soft, and so they didn't over-compliment. But you knew he loved you.
It was tough love.
Blair, the pitcher, 1 for 8 as a hitter. That usually means, along with Malik Smith, good speed, a couple of leadoff men, Smith as a 9-hitter in NCRD, that they feel Blair can swing the bat. Yeah, pretty good swipe at that, but strike 3, swinging. Second, strikeout for Ray. He gets the side in order in the 2nd.
We're focusing on tonight the mistake two-seamer by Aaron Blair, and that's our tools of the trade. A bad release point working underneath the baseball. For the hitters, looking for that ball elevated, that high location fastball that flattens out, and when it flattens out, it goes a long way. As you can see, Buster Posey in his last start, Aaron Blair gave up 3 home runs in his last start in the Giants. All of it was those flat two-seam fastballs. When they're down in the strike zone, they have that movement down. It really has a tough time elevating it.
Now against the Giants, he worked 4 shutout innings, and then it fell apart. 3 home runs in the 5th inning, gave up 6 runs. So he's 0-4, looking for his first big league win. Derek Norris leads off the Padres second. He'll be followed by Ramirez and the pitcher Ray. There it is. 5th inning, 6 runs on just 3 hits, but the 3 hits were home runs.
And you think about those home runs, it's what preceded them. They weren't solo shots. It was a walk, a home run by Madison Bumgarner, another walk, home run by. That's a good one.
I'm laughing at.
That's a good one.
1-2.
On Aaron Blair's last start, 3 mistakes, and they were 3 2-run home runs, not the solo shot variety.
Swing and a miss, and that's his 2nd strikeout. He got Jay in the 1st inning. Alexei Ramirez steps up with a 9-game hitting streak.
Well, this looks like a changeup with 2 strikes to Derek Norris. The bottom drops off it. Same shape as that two-seam fastball, but with a little bit velocity off. That was 84 miles an hour on that pitch.
With the 9-game streak, his average up to 256. They didn't zombie him up too much, did they?
Actually looks tough right there, though.
Ground ball to the left side, and Castro throws out Ramirez, 2 away. Colin Ray, a couple of hits in 19 tries. Not good enough swinging the bat in batting practice that manager Andy Green, and that game in Milwaukee, we ran out of regular players and had to go to pitchers. It was Ray that was going to pinch hit.
Yeah.
Of course, if Tyson Ross were healthy, he would be the man.
Exactly. I like when Tyson Ross swings the bat.
Speaking of pitchers swinging the bat, how about Mad Bum Madison Bumgarner? He
Wow.
wants to be here for the home run derby, suggesting that he'd like to be a participant.
And his manager Bruce Bochy doesn't want any part of that. I'd actually like to see it.
I would too.
The fans would love it.
I think he'd hold his own.
Well, in that home run derby, most of the participants bring their own batting practice pitcher, which I think would be very important, especially for Madison Bumgarner.
Hey, he could pitch it, and a Neefus ball, run back up, grab a bat.
Now he'd strike himself out. But he has 2 career home runs off of Clayton Kershaw.
Popped up. That's going to sail back over the screen. Here's Bumgarner, and there are no cheapies either. Taking Aaron Blair very deep.
Aaron Blair had a 0-0 game at the time. You think that Bruce Bochy would lay a bunt down? Well, with 13 career home runs, he didn't want any part of that.
Ray works the count full. John Jay would be next. There's a shot into left field for a base hit. Right on cue. Colin Ray belts one through the hole, and the inning continues. 3rd hit of the year for Ray. Brings up the leadoff man.
Yeah, sounded like it was off the end of the bat, but perfect placement. 5.5 hole. Colin Ray getting in that situation and getting that foot down early. Driving it through the Tony Gwynn hole.
Drew Pomeranz there on the left. He'll be on the mound tomorrow. Remember, that's a 12:40 game. We'll be on the air at 12 noon. Fox Sports San Diego Padre Live pregame show. Six-game hitting streak for JJ. He leads the National League in 2 baggers, 19 doubles so far. Changeup.
Back-to-back changeups by Aaron Blair. In that hitting streak, John Jay has been very aggressive. The first 2 pitches, he has been taking his swings and squaring up a lot of baseballs in that hitting streak.
Ball gets away, and that hit him. Not only got away, but Jay, who gets more than his share hit by pitch, and he does, you know, he's very good at the ball down in the dirt. He doesn't skip away. He'll take one for the team.
See where it gets him. I thought it was that back foot. Yep, gets him right on the top of the foot. John Jay likes hitting here at Petco Park. He's got a .331 average. He's had a nice year for the Padres.
Boy, he's collected a lot of hits too. 67. That's 4th most in the National League. That's kind of surprising.
And he's .433 in the month of June at home.
All right, Will Myers, a chance to give the Padres the lead in this 1-1 tie. Pitcher Ray in scoring position, and Jay now at first. Myers walked and scored the Padre run in the first inning. Did he go? Breaking ball. Nope. First base umpire Angel Hernandez said he was able to check. He's got a kid brother playing baseball. I believe it's at East Carolina.
Yep.
Ground ball sharply into left field. Ray got a late break, and they're still going to try to send him. Here's a throw to the plate. Oh my, that wasn't even close. He was out by 15 feet. I'm surprised that they took a gamble. The left fielder Malik Smith with a solid throw on the fly, and Ray, the pitcher, out by a mile. The Chargers were here, their top draft picks. Joey Bosa, the #1 pick. The kid, I think that's a tight end from Arkansas. He was their second selection, and Turk from USC.
Some big boys. I think the excitement is Joey Bosa.
Yeah, Hunter Henry was the other. They say that, man, he's got great hands. He hadn't dropped the ball in a week. Max Turek, the center, was drafted very highly. He had knee surgery, but they say he's going to be okay for the start of the year. Pretty good picks. I think they're going to be the surprise team in the NFL, not just because we're San Diego fans. They've got a better schedule. Keenan Allen's going to come back, and he was, before his injury, he was as good as any wide receiver. They're going to protect Phillip Rivers. Bosa's going to give them more outside rush on defense.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
And good luck to the guys, and welcome to San Diego. I'd like to see some sacks by Joey Bosa.
Yeah. Sack master. Ohio State. Malik Smith, 5'9", 180 pounds, 23 years old. The Justin Upton trade to the Padres, and Malik Smith, along with Jace Peterson, Dustin Peterson, and the pitcher Max Fried, went to Atlanta. He's got 4 triples this year, 3 home runs. Chop to third. Tough play for Wallace. It throws off balance and way too much speed. Smith beats that out. I mean, he's averaged over 40 steals a season in the minor leagues.
Puts so much pressure on the infielders. And that speed element, you know that he's getting out of the batter's box. You're going to have to be aggressive if you're an infielder.
And have to play shallow against Smith with that speed.
Well, 7 stolen bases on the year, but he's also been caught 7 times. Talking to the Atlanta Braves people, they said 2 of those is because he slid past second base.
50% rate.
Yeah, that's not what you want from a base stealer. But he's still learning at this level.
So much momentum. He just rides right over the bag at second. INCIARTE squaring and gets the call. Ball 1.
Well, these situations just benefit the hitter, because when you have speed at first base, you can almost assume you're going to get a lot of fastballs.
Here he goes. Throw by Norris. Not in time. Number 8 for Malik Smith. Yeah, he's going to be a threat on the bases. He is very quick.
Well, good jump. You could see just that lean and the good slide. Nice pick by Ramirez on that throw by Norris.
The last 4 years in the minors, this man stole 209 bases. That's an average of 52 plus a season. Check swing, got to play at third. They got him hung up. Now he'll try to get in a rundown, get that runner over to second. Now they can run him back and throw to second. Oh my goodness, now they got 2 there. And now they tag both of them, and they're both, one's safe and one's out. Take your pick.
Well, that was interesting, because Malik Smith goes back to second base with INCIARTE hustling to second base. They almost knocked each other off the base.
So INCIARTE safe on the fielder's choice.
Well, the mistake by Smith, having to wait till it gets by Ray and then getting in the rundown. This goes back to spring training, all of those elements. Watch that. Surprisingly, Smith almost knocked INCIARTE off second. Looked like they were trying to hug each other.
Now the base belonged to Smith, but he was off the base when they made the tag. Had they both stood on second base, then INCIARTE would have been out, as Smith owned the base initially. So INCIARTE took the worst of that collision. Well,
that's the right thing to do if you're INCIARTE. You hear the instructions by your first base coach, just trying to get into scoring position, and hopefully Smith can stay in that rundown. So they have a guy in scoring position now.
Fans, you can hear the murmur in the background of fans as they digest the play. One unassisted for the put out at second base. Oh, 1-1 tie. It's INCIARTE carrying the tiebreaker now with one out. Andy Green getting the explanation from plate umpire Barksdale. And he might be saying, hey, if you tagged out Smith and INCIARTE was off the base, you tagged him too, you get them both.
Yep.
That's going to be interesting. This is worth maybe a challenge.
Well, you saw Will Little. He was in perfect position to make this call. So just discussing it and trying to figure that out. I think Andy Green deserves this explanation.
Now here it is again, slowing it down a bit. Okay. INCIARTE is there. They collide. Now they're both off the base. INCIARTE trying to maintain contact, and he stays on the base. So he's safe. Smith was not on the base, so he's tagged out. So that's a good call.
You can see Will Little right in there.
And
credit him being in the right position to make that call.
And that was, from that replay, was the correct call. And manager Green satisfied at that. Well, it's one of those you don't see every day at the ball yard. But it's a play. You go to Little League or high school, college, you get those rundowns and get two men at the same base. Not so much on the major league level. So Chase Darno grounded to first his first time. And then Freddie Freeman with a man in scoring position. Darno last night 3 for 5, 3 singles and a couple of strikeouts. Interesting, this young man, and Chip Carey, the voice of the Atlanta Braves, telling us about the Arno boys. Their mother is an opera singer. And there's Chip and Joe Simpson on the left. And she would take them to their ball games, two sons, baseball players, and on the way she'd encourage them to sing arias in the car.
Wow.
And Phantom of the Opera was a favorite.
Well, my mom wanted me to sing too, but then she told me to be quiet.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I can too.
Even the shower turned off when you sang.
She didn't even ask me to do any opera. I didn't even make it that far.
0-2 the count. That's just the picture of a mom singing with a beautiful voice and her two baseball sons offering arias on their way to the Little League is an interesting picture. 2 strikes. Ground ball through the hole. Arno delivers. Here comes a run around third. And INCIARTE will score. It's 2-1 Atlanta. Ray in front of Arno on the count. 0-2. And he's able to deliver the RBI hit. Let's go down to Julie Alexandria. Julie.
Hey, well, to add on to what you guys were just talking about, Chase Darno's mom was into opera, and it must have rubbed off on him because he is actually the lead singer of his own band. And this is something that he does on the side and also something he pursues. And here's another little nugget. You know, he and I went to the same high school. Los Alamitos High School. Of course, I graduated before him, but he is a Los Al Griffin. And it was good to catch up with him today.
Plays a pretty mean guitar as well, huh?
He does.
Line drive base hit for Freeman, and that will take Darno over to third. And the Braves are threatening to add to a 2-1 lead. First and third with one out, and Nick Markakis coming up.
Well, early swings for Freeman. See the breaking ball that's elevated.
Again, a nice hitting by Freeman, where he struggled in this series. Well, last night we broke down Freddie Freeman's swing, that short stride, but also staying behind the baseball. Last night that head was going forward and he was swinging through a lot of baseballs.
3 hits in the inning given up by Colin Ray, so that brings Darren Bowlesley to the mound. A run in, Arnaud at third and Freeman at first for Markakis, who drove in the first Braves run in the opening inning with a double to right. So each team with 4 hits. The Braves claim the lead here in the top of the 3rd. Infield will set up for 2. Just missed outside. Now the Braves last night, typical of their season, struggled with runners in scoring position. They were 1 for 8.
You see Markakis is not struggling in those situations. 26 RBIs in these.
And he's going to get another run home on that fly ball as Upton circles the tag, and here comes the throw to the plate, cut off, and scoring Arnaud. It's 3-1. Markakis 32nd RBI, make that 33rd. He has a couple tonight. So 2 away. Kelly Johnson the batter. Hard hit one hopper to Solarte at second base his first time.
Kelly Johnson throughout his career has made a living on hitting off the fastball. Got to be careful in these situations, especially that middle in. He's got a lot of power.
146 home runs in his career. Biggest years were in Arizona. You go back to 2010, he hit 284 that year with 26 homers. Now 34 years of age.
He's had a nice career.
Barry Pendleton there. Now the bench coach. Used to be on the bases. Oh, that's a beautiful bunt. Ray bare hand throw and gets him. That's a terrific defensive play by Ray to charge off the mound, bare hand and whirl and throw a strike over to Myers to get Kelly Johnson. But the Braves on 3 hits score 2 and lead it 3-1. As they use 3 singles to score a couple of runs with a sac fly from Markakis. Padres in the last of the 3rd have Kemp, Solarte, and Upton scheduled. Kemp an RBI single to knock in the Padre run in the first inning. So looking ahead to Thursday's amateur draft in actually in New Jersey, not New York. It'll be at MLB headquarters. The Phillies get the first pick, then the Reds, the Braves third, Rockies, Brewers, A's, Marlins, and the Padres with the 8th pick before Detroit and Chicago.
Well, so many people talking about this draft. It's very exciting.
Especially a lot of good players, not that super player.
Yeah, there's no Bryce Harper, there's no Steven Strasburg. You're going to get a lot of quality players.
And thanks to the Padres management, they're going to send me back to tomorrow morning so I can be there Thursday. And when that number 8 pick comes up, I'll be able to go up with the 8th pick of the 2016 draft, the Padres pick.
You got to be excited about that, right?
I am. That's a terrific gesture on their part. Left center field, but it's hanging. And watch out as Malik makes the catch in front of INCIARTE. Malik Smith using his speed to get to that shallow fly ball.
Now, are you going to, obviously the 8th pick, but you're going to do the other 2 as well?
Yeah, I think 24 and 25 in the first round. You know, I haven't received a total assignment. I'm just going to be there. And of course, along with being able to announce the Padres picks, the thrill for me is, you know, that the other teams are going to bring Hall of Famers and great players of their history and be able to rub shoulders with them.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So you're flying tomorrow?
I'm flying tomorrow so that I'll be there for the Thursday. It's televised on MLB at I think 3 o'clock here in San Diego.
Well, exciting for a lot of Padre fans, and I think all of us are excited. Also works on an off day for us, so we get to watch it.
Right. No,
it'll be that development part of how they're going to restructure this organization with a lot, infuse that talent. It does take some time, obviously, with the new signees and new draft picks.
They want to be, and for some fans, they better be right, because they've got more picks in the first 85 than any other team. 3 in the first round, and then they have the 48th pick, the 71st, and the 85th. So, you know, 85 players out of this great talented nation of baseball players. You ought to be able to come up out of the 6. You'd hope that half of those will be big league players. You're not going to hit on all 6.
You're not going to hit on all of them. But I would say it's safe to say that there's some pressure that is on A.J. Preller and his staff.
Ground ball to the right side. Freeman to backhand, and the toss to the pitcher for the out. 2 away. So here are the Padres selections at 3 in the first round. And then the 48th pick in round 2 should be a good one. And 71st and 85th.
Well, both of these teams, you see the Padres have 6 picks. The Atlanta Braves have 5 in the first 80 picks. So it's pretty interesting that where both of these franchises have been and where they are and how important Thursday starts off. It's not necessarily just Thursday either. Friday is very important.
Right.
Finding those gems.
And then Saturday, it's just rapid fire. They're picking what? How many rounds? 60? Yeah,
and you think about all the successful guys that have been later in the draft. It's not always the first rounders, the supplemental picks.
Mike Piazza, the Hall of Famer this
one
year.
That sticks out to me.
Melvin Upton singled his first time.
Well, there's also a local kid for La Costa Canyon. That's Mickey Moniak, that is supposed to be going in the top. I've even seen him the first pick of the draft.
The Phillies might take him first out.
Justin Machado, that has a wonderful program up there. A lot of people throughout baseball speak very highly of that outfielder.
Apparently he's very fast. He has a lot of triples, set some record with 3 base hits. That means that he can gallop. He's a 6'2". He's a big rangy guy. They figure he'll hit with power.
Yeah, bat to ball skills have been very impressive, is what a lot of scouts talk about.
Fouled at the plate. It remains 2-2. Take a look at this young man.
Now you gotta love left-handers. Left-handed swing. Has the ability to go get him in the outfield. Normally a center field, they're playing left in that game. And now it's a speed element. Especially when you steal a base, you don't have to slide. That's speed.
That's speed, that's right. Just hit the flaps down and Make your landing on the base without going to the dirt. 2-2 to Upton.
Well, there's not many of us that had speed.
Going
Mickey
back,
and myself.
That's right. Piazza was drafted the 1,390th player, 62nd round.
It's a lot of mistakes before Mike Piazza, isn't it?
To the Hall of Fame. You never know. Ripped into the souvenir corner. That got out to a fan in a hurry, and you hope that the seat will take the brunt of that drive, and apparently it did. Three and two. And he strikes him out with a changeup. 1-2-3. The Padres story in the third. Atlanta leads 3-1. Baltimore, Kansas City. Machado hit by a Ventura pitch, and they go at it. And both benches empty, and scrum on the mound. You hope no one gets stepped on there. Machado gets the better of that exchange.
Well, both of these players have had history where they've gone the wrong direction. If you think about Manny Machado, he is having an MVP type year. Obviously not wanting to get hurt in that situation. He's hitting .307, 15 home runs, and 37 RBIs, and you're in the middle of that scrum.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Ground ball foul as the Braves come up. Brzezinski, Castro, and Blair in the fourth. Now Ventura has a reputation of hitting more than his share, doesn't he?
It's not a good reputation to have. And he has been going through his struggles, as the Royals have too. This was a guy that was supposed to be a #1 pitcher.
Another base hit for the Braves. A line shot back through the box. Brzezinski, who lined out the first time to left field, has the 5th hit for the visitors.
Another breaking ball from Colin. Those are starting to elevate a little too much. An 0-2 count. That's not a good breaking ball. You want to bury that.
Daniel Castro, the 23-year-old from south of the border, Mexico. Came up last year, 96 at bats. Hit .240. Struggling so far this year, 191. Grounded to second his first time tonight. So if you're wondering, with the Braves cutting loose all their high-priced ball players, all their veteran players, and trading them for younger talent for the future, you're wondering, well, where are they now? Manager Ryan Snitker taking over for Freddie Gonzalez. Well, most of them are in AA and AAA.
Yep.
They're not quite ready to come up to the big time, but they say they're loaded.
Well, they've really done a nice job with their trades. A lot of the trades have brought over very good talent when it comes to the pitching side. And I think if you look at the history of the Atlanta Braves, it's probably shocking to a lot of baseball fans seeing this franchise really hit rock bottom because of the Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine era. And that set the tone. All of those banners that they won, the national championships, National League championships, and I don't think you can replicate what those three gave you. The Chipper Joneses of the world.
Yeah, you got Brian McCann, catcher, and you come up and club 20 home runs.
I think they're just hoping to hit on some of those pitchers. And obviously, when you have surplus of pitching, I think other organizations are going to try to pluck you and get those guys to come over to their organization, and hopefully they can get some bats, because they don't have any bats in the organization that are worth talking about when it comes to impact bats.
Castro takes strike 3. One away for Colin Ray, his third strikeout. Well, they announced today the weekly balloting for the All-Star game, the American League. And here's how it stands now with some Boston Red Sox. Bradley out in the outfield. Bogart's the shortstop, and Big Papi Ortiz as the DH, making the top of the list.
Well, to me, that's the greatest story of the All-Star game right now. David Ortiz has had a phenomenal start to the season. Probably his best of his career, and he already announced that this will be his final year.
I think he might change his mind. Everyone's asking that question.
I think a lot of people are just hoping that he changed his mind. I think he wants to go on top, and why not? If you're that type of athlete, that style of guy, and being able to go out on top.
Pitcher Blair trying to bunt and move that runner up with one out here, and he has 2 strikes on him.
What do you think? I mean, David Ortiz meant a lot to the game. Obviously plays in a huge market.
Well, selfishly, as a fan, you'd like to see him continue, but realistically, too many times in all sports there's been that great athlete that stayed too long, and you remember his bad years as at the end of his career rather than the glory of the prime. Well, a good bunt with 2 strikes. Myers, though, will get the force there. Back to first base. Not in time. Nicely turned, however. And Myers, with no hesitation, firing to Ramirez. And Ramirez back almost gets the double play.
Well, Mark McGuire, the bench coach, is going to check on that close double play. But watch Will Myers. He comes in. He's very aggressive, but the accurate throw to second base. Good turn by Ramirez, and just barely beating that throw is Aaron Blair, who did not get out of the batter's box too quickly.
Yeah, that forces him to run hard to first, puts him on base. He doesn't have the luxury going back and resting in the dugout. Could have impact. Ground ball sharply by Malik Smith, and Ramirez over to Solarte for the force out. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning at Petco. A 3-run Atlanta lead.
Server Stadium 94 All-Star Game. Top of the 10th inning, pinch hitter Fred McGriff of the Braves. A home run off Doug Jones to tie the game. And you know what happened later. Tony Gwynn would score the winning run for the National League in an 8-7 victory. And the All-Star Game 5 weeks to the day from tonight.
I'm so excited for that All-Star Game to see everything go on, and also for Tony Gwynn to get recognition. I think that's going to be something that's really touching. And we're going to have a special on Fox Sports San Diego as well, and I'm sure a lot of baseball and people that cover that game are going to.
Well, Fox Sports is going to cover it. I'm sure they'll have a feature on Tony.
And just enhance the life of Tony Gwynn. I think he deserves it, well deserved. Talked to Tony Gwynn Jr. when he was in town with the Dodgers, and he said, I'm really excited about that. And he should be.
Yeah, the only sad part is that Tony won't be here to take his bows.
Yeah.
So the Padres trailing by 2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Wallace, Norris, and Ramirez scheduled.
Cutie.
Wallace grounded to first, his first at bat. Changeup, 2-1.
Now you see the miles per hour on that changeup, and it's a harder variety. You think it's almost a batting practice fastball. Takes a little bit off that. Differential is not that much. He's been 90-91 with that fastball and 85-86 with the changeup. Here comes the change again.
And he rips it foul. Out in front.
That's a nice play.
Those ball girls are very talented.
It's the first step that impresses. Yeah, smile. Why not? Head nod. I couldn't do that.
You got to be totally alert when you're sitting down on that stool. You never know when one's going to come like a rocket at you, and that was one. By the mound, rolled into the shift, and Wallace thrown out by the shortstop, Castro. David Ortiz has 9 All-Star appearances and looking for number 10, and you got to think he's going to make it. Well, he's a menacing hitter, isn't he?
Yeah. One of the most clutch performers on the big stage. Obviously, he plays in Boston, but when the game's on the line, that's the guy you want. And I think that's the reason why, and I'm going to ask you too, Professor, if he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's going to be.
Yeah, that's interesting. If he is, how about Edgar Martinez? So you start to think, well, you put one man who is a designated hitter. There's some that feel that if you don't take a glove onto the field, that you don't deserve to be in Cooperstown, and there is that argument.
I understand that argument. I really do. And think about Edgar Martinez, who we saw as the hitting coach of the Seattle Mariners when they were in town. I'd like to see them in, because it's, you know, they didn't ask to be.
No, it's the evolution of the game.
It is. I think everyone that talks about the game and moving forward, some people want the DH throughout the league, even in the National League.
Yeah, some do, unfortunately.
I don't.
I don't either, nor does Andy Green, the manager of the Padres.
But if you're starving for offense and it's that argument, and you have David Ortiz that can stay in the game a little bit longer, why not?
1-2 to Norris. Bounces it in. So we mentioned earlier that Aaron Blair, his last outing against San Francisco, went 4 shutout innings, and then it fell apart in the 5th. He leads 3-1 tonight. Went out in the 4th inning. And he strikes out Norris for the 2nd time. That's 4 in the game. 2 away. So the Major League home run leaders, and Ortiz is on the list, tied with Cano at 16. On top, Mark Trumbo of the Orioles. Boy, is he having a terrific year. Arenado and Todd Frazier with 18. Matt Kemp is tied for 5th in the National League with his 14.
Well, 2 surprises on that list. To me, a bounce back by Robinson Cano, but also Mark Trumbo. He was at a tremendous year, and they were relying on him at the beginning of the season just to be a platoon guy. He's played himself into being very difficult for Buck Showalter to take him out of that lineup because of the home run production.
Ground ball foul. And Blair quickly 2 strikes up on Alexei Ramirez, grounded to short his first time, and extend a nice little string here of 9 straight games. Well, Blair, you can see why Atlanta was interested in acquiring him in that Shelby Miller deal. You see that most rookie pitchers with at least 1 start since 2015, the Braves, was in the minor leagues. In 3 years in the minors, this big guy was 23 and 13, and a nice ERA, just a little over 3.
Well, there's some familiarity with San Diego Padres. Doug Bachler, the bullpen coach, and also Andy Green had him in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization.
Smothered foul, and the count stays at 2-2.
Andy Green managed the Double-A team in Mobile. And Doug Bachler had him in Single-A in South Bend.
So they were able to give a first-hand scouting report to the hitters tonight.
He's really relied on that changeup. I think it has a lot to do with A.J. Przinsky putting those fingers down and trusting that secondary pitch.
Low with the fastball, and a full count to Ramirez. 67 pitches now for this big guy.
Here's the pitch range, 93 and 76, which is the 76 is the breaking ball, that slow breaking ball, but the 85, 86 mile an hour changeup has been the difference maker. Here it comes again.
And ball 4. He has hit a man and now walked 2. And that'll bring up Colin Ray, who singled his first time. But Ray trying to score from second base, ill-advised. As the left fielder Smith charges the ball, he had his throw on the way before Ray turned at third. Glenn Hoffman thought he could score him.
Well, for Glenn Hoffman, and you're reading the runner, but it's a runner's responsibility to go full tilt until you get stopped by Glenn Hoffman. And it looked to me like Colin Ray was wondering what sign he was going to get and not running full speed. That's the reason why he got thrown out by a lot. Glenn Hoffman's one of the best third base coaches in the game.
You know, he studied the outfielders, and he's got that clock in his brain that says, here, you either let him go or not go, based on the outfielder's arm and the runner that he's trying to either check at third or wave home.
Well, I think from a base runner standpoint, when you know there's 2 outs, you got to go. You got to test most of the left fielders in the game of baseball. Most left fielders don't have the arm that Melvin Upton Jr. has, so you will run on them no matter what. But that's got to be in your mind before the ball's even hit.
Inside, 2-1 to Ray. He worked the count to 3-2 before driving a single through the left side of the infield his first time. Right field, and that's Markakis to the foul line, and in foul territory makes the play. And we go to the 5th inning at Petco with the Braves in front, 3-1. Well, zombie night, and the Padres hope it won't be a monster that attacks them because they're down 3-1. You know, zombies. Yeah, I'm not up to date on. You know, Frankenstein. Would he qualify as a zombie? Is that another whole category?
I think that's a whole new category. But I might be wrong too. That's not going to be the first time.
It's a. I mean, wow, no zombie. Brian Dutcher, the assistant basketball coach, the coach in waiting, if you will, at San Diego State. Terrific man.
He is.
He just looks important, doesn't he?
He does. He looks the part. A fabulous job with that program.
Oh my. Sold out, I guess, already for next season. Line drive, base hit. As INCIARTE starts the 5th inning with a solid single. That is 6 hits now for the Braves. Well, here's our San Diego fans of the game.
Yeah.
In the spirit of the evening. It's just that through the year, kids love to be scared, right?
They do.
That's what makes Halloween Halloween. See, that's what happens now when you don't eat your breakfast. So. Arnaud knocked in a run his last time up and then scored after he broke the 1-1 tie. Came around on a sacrifice fly by Markakis.
Now, the way Chase Darno handles the bat, this is a perfect situation to put on a hit and run. Get speed on the base pass. He's taking a long look down to third base. Bo Porter putting on the signs.
Well, with the leadoff single, he squared his hip to bunt. That might have been just for show.
Because of that, you see Brett Wallace right on the grass trying to take away that bunt, expose some holes in the infield as well.
And he pulls out just foul.
Clay Hensley down next to the dugout. We heard about your former teammate Madison Bumgarner wants to possibly be in the home run hitting contest. What do you think of that?
He absolutely should be. I mean, that guy absolutely, he drops bombs during the season, and he might put on one of the most epic shows of BP I've ever seen, especially from a pitcher, aside from myself, of course. Right?
Who throw? Yeah, of course, right?
So you've seen him in action in batting practice. He's as good as any power hitter.
I think, honestly, I think he would have a legitimate shot, no doubt. I think if he was in the home run derby, I think he would probably keep up with most of the guys that are the power hitters in the league.
Who throws batting practice to them? Is it Mark Gardner, the bullpen coach?
It switches around. I mean, you know, Bumgarner, he likes his own pitching coach to throw because he's trying to get ready for the show, you know, for the All-Star game. But no, they switch it around. I mean, all the guys from the staff, they all throw it. You'll see Boats will be out there every now and then.
1-1 now to Darno. To the right side. There's one. Back to first. Double play. Quickly turned. Oh, that was nicely done by the second baseman Solarte with a quick flip, and Ramirez so quick with the feet and the arm to gun it back to Myers for the 4-6-3.
Yeah, to your point too, Dick. Watch the feet of Jan Solarte and the feed. Working his feet before the ball even gets there. And the nice feed to Ramirez. He knows where he wants it. And a nice throw getting Darno at first base. A turn in the middle of the infield by those pods.
You have the room service double play balls that are easy to turn, and then you have a real tough chance, and that was one of them. Did I ever tell you I love the double play?
Oh, I know, I do too.
So 2 away to Freeman, who has walked and singled tonight. Top of the 5th inning. The Braves enjoying a 3-1 lead. A team that has won only 16 times in 57 games. Pulled into the shift, shallow right field. Solarte throws him out. Halfway mark in this one, 4.5 in the books, and the Braves lead by 2. Game summary in the first inning after a walk to Freeman. Nick Markakis doubled off the base of the wall, caromed away from Kemp, and Freeman scored all the way from first base, 1-0. Matt Kemp got the run back in the bottom of the first inning as he drove in Will Myers, who had walked. And then INCIARTE scored on this base hit by Chase Darno. And then Darno would score on a sac fly, and that's where we stand, 3-1. John Jay has struck out and was hit by a pitch. Jay, Myers, and Kemp, the top 3 in the batting order for the Padres here in the 5th inning. And he lines one to center, and that'll fall for a base hit. Jay continues to collect the hitter more in most every game. That's his 68th base knock of the season.
Now the changeup out of the hands of Blair, and he's continuing to work that pitch. John Jay off the end of the bat dumps this into center field, and it's a good start for the Padres. Short, compact swing, but using that lower half, especially with the two-seamer and also the changeup tonight.
That'll bring in the tying run to the plate here in the 5th inning. Will Myers has a walk and a hit tonight. Scored a run. Three home runs in the last 12 games for Myers, and hitting at a .386 pace in that dozen games. He really has looked good here the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we've seen him go the right center, which I love when that swing is there, but also pulling the ball correctly in good hitting position.
Takes ball 1.
What I mean about correctly is he's not out in front. And a lot of times we've seen Will Myers hook the baseball down the left field line rather than hit it true. Those gaps are his friends. Gap to gap hitter with gap power. That makes him a gap man.
High fly ball, didn't quite get that one. Backs Markakis up. Oh, that was way up there, and 1 out. Jay tags and bluffs. 1 away.
Now this is a two-seamer right down the middle of the plate, just off the end of the bat. And he knows he wants that back because he has been hammering those pitches.
That'll bring up Matt Kemp. RBI single and a fly ball to left. So Clay, are you a zombie guy?
I'm not a real big zombie guy. I got to tell you what, though, I have gotten into The Walking Dead this year. I don't know if you guys are Netflix junkies or anything like that, but man, you can binge it. I'm not a zombie guy. I'm telling you right now, but it's actually not a bad show.
Yeah, my daughter loves that show, Clay. But
how old is your daughter?
She's 16. She likes it.
I feel like I'd have nightmares if I was 16 and I was watching that.
I know.
Actually, I have nightmares now. I'm 36. So
yeah, that's of a guy hitting one right back through the box, huh? Right at your bean. In the dirt. There's a breaking ball, 2-0.
Now, Clay, you threw the two-seam fastball a lot in your career, and you're seeing Aaron Blair tonight. What's your impressions of the young pitcher?
I think that obviously, and it seems like this has been throughout most of his starts this season, is that he's leaving it out over the plate. And I think when you start to do that, it's because you're nitpicking, you're trying to pitch a little too fine, and you start leaving balls out over the plate. The bottom line with a lot of these sinkers, and I learned from guys like Greg Maddux, Woody Williams, those guys had great sinkers, was just throw it down on the thirds, and leave it below the knees, and let the guys get themselves out and be efficient.
Waved at that delivery, a breaking ball, 2-1.
Clay, you always hear about getting on top of the sinker, and if you work underneath, it flattens out. But what do they mean about getting on top of that ball?
Well, I think most of the time when they're talking about this, it's getting your fingers behind the ball. That's what they're talking about when they say to get on top, behind the ball, because when you start to get on the side, it starts to flatten out, starts to run. You see a lot of that coming from Blair tonight. When you get on top of it, you allow that fastball to get some of that depth.
Backs off the fastball, 3-1. So he's worked his way into a hitter's count as he did earlier.
And you've seen that command too, Dick, that it's straying for Aaron Blair. 80 pitches on the night.
First inning, he worked it to 3-1 and singled in a run, Matt Kemp.
6 3-ball counts as well.
And he hits this one on a line right past the shortstop, Castro. Boy, that was a laser. Castro barely had a chance to react, so Kemp 2 for 3 tonight. Tying run on for Jan Solarte.
Now, so many times when you work the count in your favor, you can look for a pitch, and when they're straying with command, look right down the middle. And Matt Kemp does that. This is an absolute blister line drive. Perfect mechanics. You can see him staying behind the baseball, short to it, but long through. Matt Kemp likes where he's at, good hitting position, and getting into good hitting counts.
Roger McDowell, the pitching coach for the Braves, out to trying to settle down the young right-hander. 3-1 Atlanta. The Padres with a couple of singles here, one gone in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Jan Solarte, the 3-run home run last night, is the hitter. Now this would be a nice repeat, wouldn't it, with 2 men on last night. High and deep over the home run deck. Got such a boy's joy playing this game. Runners in scoring position. He's been solid all year. No shift with runners at first and second. Ball 1. Bullpen busy. We saw Casey Kelly last night, former Padre. Worked an inning in 2/3.
Let's see if he goes to that changeup in this situation.
Changeup. He's a very patient hitter. In fact, he'll often not swing until he takes a strike.
He's had some automatic takes because they try to pitch him out of the strike zone. And that's experience, and he's showing it.
So 2-0 to Solarte. Ball 3. Another changeup. Melvin Upton waiting his turn. Green light him, 3-0.
Not in this situation.
He takes a strike. Well placed, knee high on the edge.
Not going to do anything with that pitch unless you're committed to go the other way.
Atlanta 1 for 3. Runners in scoring position. They're 2 for 11 in the series. Padres much more successful. Now 3-1. Jay at second. Kemp at first. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Third walk from Aaron Blair.
Let's take a look at how they attacked Yangervis Solarte. First pitch fastball away, easy take, and then an automatic take on the changeup. He tries back-to-back changeups, gets to 3-0. Then the fastball on the outside part of the plate, and Solarte staying in the strike zone in a nice at-bat.
And so out comes manager Brian Snitker with 1 out in the 5th inning. That'll be all for Aaron Blair. Deal that sent Adrian Gonzalez to Boston, and his pitching change is brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
Inning and 2/3 of work for Casey Kelly, the former Padre.
Just called up from Gwinnett, the AAA team, yesterday. And
those lefties are taking hacks off them. And last night we saw the cutter against lefties, and also the two-seamer going the other direction.
Third stint with the team. He was up in April and also in May, and now recalled here in June. Aaron Blair goes 4 1/3. He's responsible for all 3 men aboard. A Padre over every pillow here in the 5th inning. A golden opportunity to break into that 3-1 Atlanta advantage. Melvin Upton singled and struck out. Surprisingly, only 1 grand slam in his career.
Wow. How about 2?
It would ring rather nicely. Over but low.
You see the Padres. John Jay, Matt Kemp, and Yangervis Solarte at first.
One away. That's a strike right at the knees.
Now Melvin Upton Jr. takes a look at Lance Barksdale and asks him where that pitch is. Been a good strike zone tonight. That one was right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Inside, 2-1. No place to put him here. And the action pitch now with the bases loaded and 2-1 on Melvin Upton as Brett Wallace waits his turn. Pitcher wants to get it over. The hitter on 2-1 ready to pull the trigger. 2-1. Deep drive to right field. Markakis going back, and makes the catch. A great catch A run will score, and moving over to third base goes Matt Kemp. It's 3-2, and Upton flirts with a grand slam, and Markakis makes an outstanding running catch.
I really thought he had his second grand slam in his career, but you take a look at how he pitched him. The first pitch was the two-seamer that's down. Then he gets a borderline call on the fastball away. This is when you start working it, and then the fastball middle in. And a nice approach, but on the back end, Markakis making a good grab at the wall.
And that's right where the wall angles, and for a visiting player not that familiar with the tricky caroms there in that corner, if he doesn't catch that, that ball might bounce back into right center for a...
And that would have got interesting.
Yeah, 3 runs. So it's 3-2. Kemp goes to third. Solarte still at first for Brett Wallace, who takes strike 1.
Yeah, really good base running by Matt Kemp. Even getting to third base in this situation, you never know how much pressure that puts on the pitcher and the catcher.
So 90 feet away from tying it up. Another strike. 0-2.
Right at the bottom of the strike zone. We saw it against Melvin Upton Jr. He's been giving him that pitch. A good frame job by A.J. Brzezinski.
Swing and a foul tip. And he's still alive. Wallace barely, as Brzezinski unable to get the glove on that one.
Well, that was an emergency swing by Brett Wallace. Just staying alive in an 0-2 count.
Kelly last year did come up from San Antonio and pitched in 3 games for the Padres. Of course, he's recovering from Tommy John surgery, missed all of 2013. Have to root for this young man.
Well, very good athlete. Started as a shortstop and moved to the pitching mound. But you're right, Dick. You have to root for him because he's been through a lot of rehab.
Wallace swings and misses, so Kelly comes out of the bullpen, bases loaded and 1 out. He does give up the sacrifice fly, but nothing more. And after 5, it's the Braves 3, the Padres 2. Brought to you by Sequan Casino. Sign up for the new Padres Club Card today. By Jack in the Box. Taste the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Chat before it's gone. And by Mercury Insurance. We're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today. Zombies with a capital Z here tonight.
Dancing really slowly, aren't they?
So Aaron and Blair will not figure in the decision. He works 4 1/3 innings. He gives up the 2 runs, 6 hits, walked 3, hit 1, and struck out 4. Markakis against Colin Ray to start the 6th inning.
Well, Clay down next to the dugout. What's your impressions of Colin Ray tonight? You see him with 65 pitches on the night, a lot of strikes.
Yeah, I think he's settled down nice, and you can see the difference between him and Blair staying behind the ball. That one pitch that they showed a slow-mo on when Blair gave up the hit to Kemp, you could tell getting on the side of the ball, and that's what's going to leave it flat. But Colin Ray, on the other hand, he's staying behind the ball. He's changing speeds, mixing his curveballs, and I think he's settled in nicely.
A good ball-strike ratio there.
3-1 to Markakis, who doubled in a run in the 1st inning and knocked in another with a sac fly in the 3rd. That represents the deciding run at the moment. Ball 4, a leadoff walk to Markakis. And it's time now for our Quicken Loans Rockets Arms. Most strikeouts by pitchers. The Padres in the National League, 5th best. The Nationals at 541, just ahead of the Dodgers staff.
Oh, how about that talented pitching staff of the Phillies?
Yes.
Saw Vince Velasquez that had 16 strikeouts against the Padres. Aaron Nola has had a nice year.
There's one of the teams rebuilding, and it's coming to fruition quickly. 1-1. Kelly Johnson, who is grounded sharply to 2nd. And good play made by Colin Ray on a swinging bunt going to the 3rd base side of the field and off balance throwing him out. Low 2-1. Just caught the strike zone.
That's
2-2.
Nice fastball by Colin Ray.
No zombie is that. Now that's a cutie right there.
Oh, what a smile.
Hey, Grandpa. Strike 3 called, and Johnson knew it. Cutter. 4th strikeout for Ray. 1 away to Brzezinski.
Well, you see the movement on the pitch. Johnson tries to get out of the way, and a good frame job by Derek Norris.
So we're looking into our trusty dictionary for zombie. The body of a dead person given the semblance of life, but mute and willless by a supernatural force, usually for some evil purpose.
See, they're looking it up too.
But it also is a tall drink made typically with rum. Ground ball to short. Ramirez will do the rest, and it's a 6-3 double play on Brzezinski's ground ball. 2nd double play turned by the Padre infield tonight. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning at Petco. The Padres need of 1 to tie and 2 to take the lead.
Baseball Live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Yeah, peeking into the dugout, Mark Sweeney. Ray looks as if he's got that batting helmet on. He's due to come up third here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So Andy Green likes what he sees from the right-hander and keep going here. He's got
that pitch count's been down. You know how much you've used the bullpen. I think a lot of that has to come into the mind of Andy Green, the manager.
Derek Norris starts things here in the home half of the 6th inning. Glad to see Aaron Blair leave, the starter. He punched out Norris both occasions. Norris, Ramirez, and then the pitcher's spot. That one sails all the way upstairs.
And you wonder if Andy Green has trust in the offense of the way they've been swinging the bats, coming back in certain situations, and the way Colin Ray has been throwing the ball. I think that really has to have a factor that comes into my mind.
2-2 now to Norris. Padres averaging over 7 runs a game here in June.
I think if you're a pitcher, you just grab your bat, put your batting gloves on and helmet, get ready.
Excuse me, foul. Casey Kelly, there's Hector Sanchez. This may be a battle of who gets a chance to swing. And maybe if there's 2 outs, no one on, Ray swings the bat. But if there's a chance to tie this up, Sanchez will see duty. Outside, a full count. Breaking ball from Casey Kelly.
Well, Clay, next to the dugout, you've been in plenty of those scenarios. What do you do as a starting pitcher when you know the pitch count's down?
I'm taking out Sanchez right there. Putting the helmet on, and I'm taking him out. No, you want to stay in the game. He's got a low pitch count. Like you guys said, the Padres have been scoring runs in June, and I think right there, if he's not going to be told to sit down or whatnot, and he's ready to get ready to hit, I would be telling Balsley, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to pitch. And if they said that, hey, we're going to sit you down, then I take out Sanchez at that point.
Full count now to Norris, trying to start things here in the 6th. And he rips it to third. Bad hop, but cradled over there by Darno, and he's able to get it across to Freeman in time. 1 away. Alexei Ramirez has grounded to short and walked. So all 3 batters faced by Casey Kelly. He's retired. Last dozen games, Ramirez hitting at a .333 clip and 3 home runs. Broken bat roller to short. Castro with the easy play and a couple of ground outs to the infield to open the 6th inning. And Ray will bat. Single, and he fouled out to right field.
Well, I think this is a no-brainer if you're Andy Green, especially with nobody on, with 2 outs. Still want to preserve that bullpen, and you're starting to look at the off day on Thursday, trying to get guys some rest. That bullpen has been taxed.
First pitch taken a little low. Well, tomorrow, the final game of the homestand and of the series, Drew Pomeranz will try to improve on his 5-5 record. And Julio Teheran is 1-6, but don't be fooled by that 1-loss record. His ERA is 2.92. Obviously, no run support for Teheran. 1-2 now to Ray.
No run support, and Julio Teheran has been on notice. There's a lot of people in baseball that if you're looking for an addition, that's the guy.
Another ground ball. The shortstop Castro takes care of Ray. 3 ground ball outs as Kelly retires the side in order. We've completed 6. To Dodger Stadium, and young Uriah, the 19-year-old lefty for the Dodgers, and he's head of the Rockies 3-1. Looks like he's got a live arm, huh?
Oh, 19 years old and making his first start at Dodger Stadium. Justin Turner with the big home run. He continues to put on a show in that Los Angeles Dodgers uniform as they are up 3-1.
Dodgers start tonight 4 games behind San Francisco Giants. As we go to the top of the 7th inning, it'll be Castro Blair's replacement. We'll see if Kelly hits or if they use a pinch hitter. Looks as if they're going to go to the bench and a pinch hitter.
Well, there's the NL West standings. San Francisco on top. Arizona has just finished a 5-0 win against the Rays.
Giants are tied with the Red Sox. That's quite a series up in AT&T Park. They're in the 7th inning, even at 3-all. Castro is grounded out and struck out. Three runs, 6 hits for Atlanta. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Padres, who stranded 7 tonight. Adonis Garcia, who started last night, is in the on-deck circle. Pitcher's spot next. 0-2. And with all the talk about the draft on Thursday, the first round or 2, and there's some interesting history surrounding the draft, including this date. On June 7th in 1966, Reggie Jackson, selected by the A's, 2nd overall. The Mets had the first pick and didn't take Jackson. They took Steve Chilcott.
Wow.
A catcher who never made it close to the big leagues.
A swing and a miss.
Oh my. Have the first pick, anyone you want, and Reggie's sitting right there. Maybe they had something against left-handed hitters who hit it so far.
They'd have good Octobers.
1-2 to Castro. Right field. Kemp has to give ground for the first out. How about our Cholula flamethrower? You love that.
Oh, I do. I love hot sauce. And we're going to take a look at Colin Ray in our Cholula flamethrower. I'm saying 94, and that's hot sauce. It's Taco Tuesday, Dick, and you know what I love. It's the fish taco, and we never talked about this the other night. Grilled fish tacos or beer battered?
Grilled. Yeah.
And a little bit of hot sauce.
That really is the California invention, isn't it? I mean, that's something that's catching on around the world, really, but it really all began here in Southern California.
Yeah. I love some fish tacos.
Garcia with 1 out. There's the box score for the Braves. No one with more than 1 hit. Markakis with an RBI double. RBI single for Arnaud. Swing and a miss. Oh, swung right out of his shoes on that breaking ball.
Yeah, he was swinging at that fastball and got that breaking ball.
Well, it has been economical for Ray. Only 82 pitches to get 1 out into the 7th inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Number 5 for the right-hander from Cascade, Iowa.
Well, the Cascade kid is starting to get in that rhythm, pitching above the barrel. Fastball after that 2-strike breaking ball.
That'll bring up the speedy Malik Smith, hitting 9th, the left fielder. Infield hit and a ground out to short. Slow breaking ball snaps in there. They swing around toward left field. They expect Smith to just punch the ball, not pull it.
I see Brett Wallace in on that grass looking for that bunt.
Did he go? Yes. 0-2. So a couple of ex-Padres in the game tonight. Alex Smith and Casey Kelly for Atlanta.
See Wallace getting a little bit, couple steps back, but still playing tight because of the speed of Smith.
Just off the plate, according to Barksdale. 2-1. Just fouled that one. Protective swing. Well, here's the attendance tonight. 22,198 zombie fans, and even the zombie fans that like the one with the rum drink.
Yeah.
You know, when what do you do if you have a zombie to drink in a zombie?
Ooh, you're a big time zombie.
To bring you to life or make you even deader. Inside, full count.
A lot of umpires in the stands, but Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire, has had an excellent night. Very consistent.
Yeah, you don't want to watch Smith with his ability to steal. He lines that to left and up, then twists, turns, and makes the play. 1, 2, 3. Ray has gone through 7, but the Padres still trail 3-2.
Just consistency in that in his routines and studying the game. And after the game, I see him every day in the video room going over the game, not just going over his at bats, but going over the game, like the flow of the game, the big plays of the game, the turning points of the game. And you know, he sometimes has like Jankowski in there talking to him about it. It's really cool. He's a leader, he's a teacher, he's a student of the game, and it's consistent day in, day out. It's really special.
It is very special. That's hitting coach Alan Zinter on the success of John Jay. And I have to say, guys, this guy put so much effort into his game on and off the field. A lot of times after last out, I'll be on my way back to interview manager Andy Green, and I will physically run into John Jay as he's on his way to the batting cage. I mean, this guy never stops, and it's showing on the field.
Well, Julie, thank you very much. And it's not about punching your ticket when it comes to a 3-hour game. There's a lot of preparation, what you put into your craft, and John Jay came to the Padres as a professional. He's been nothing but that since he's put on that Padre uniform.
A single and was hit by a pitch tonight. He's 1 for 2, and he laces that one just foul past third. Chris Withrow has come in to pitch for the Braves. Casey Kelly gave them an inning and 2/3. Retired all 5 men that he faced.
Chris Withrow making his 17th appearance with fastball, slider, and curveball. Averages 87 and 93 of the velocities on the fastball.
Ground ball to the left side. d'Arnaud across for the out. One away to Will Myers. Three runs, 6 hits for Atlanta. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Padres. And the Padre hitters, the first 4 in the lineup for Andy Green, have been outstanding, and they're 4 for 10 tonight with a couple of runs scored.
Well, last night they were 7 for 16. Tonight they continue their success. They're going to have to get some success from the bottom of the order tonight as well.
The only hits after the cleanup hitter Solarte, who's been hitless. Upton a single and the pitcher Ray a single. All 6 Padre hits, singles tonight. Fooled Myers with that slider.
We saw Chris Withrow come in last night and go against Kemp. He threw that high and tight fastball and then that power slider. That's his out pitch.
Acquired from the Dodgers. Another chance for d'Arnaud. Off balance throw, and Freeman does the toe dance on the bag for the second out. Couple of ground outs quickly. John Jay with a single. He scored a run back in the 5th inning. Kemp drove in a run in the 1st inning and had another base hit his last time up. So Kemp, the only player in the game with more than 1 hit. Myers with a base hit back in the 2nd inning. Kemp takes strike 1. 94 on the heater. RBI single in the 1st. He flied out to left in the 3rd. Single again in the run scoring 5th inning. Sprays that foul, and Withrow in front, 2 strikes. Padres, as you pointed out, need to get some action from Wallace, Norris, Ramirez down the bottom of the order. Just got a piece of that to stay alive.
Well, you got to remember, from the Padres' perspective, only winning 16 games the Atlanta Braves have, and I don't think they trust themselves winning games late. So to the advantage of the Padres, and especially the way they have been playing, a comeback win would be really nice tonight.
They carved into the 3-1 lead with a single tally back in the 5th. In the dirt. Well, let's check our driver's seat, brought to you by Kia. And in the driver's seat tonight is Matt Kemp with a couple of hits, and in the last 12 games hitting at a .340 pace. 4 home runs and a dozen RBIs, an RBI per game. Ground ball deep into the hole. Shortstop Castro. And 3 ground ball outs from Chris Withrow, and we go to the 8th. 3-2 Atlanta.
Night, including the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Paul Goldschmidt would get a hold of one. He's starting to heat up a little bit. That's exactly what Arizona is hoping. It's what they need. They blanked the Rays 5-0 the final. It's a 3-2 ball game back here at Petco Park. The Padres right now down by a run, the Atlanta Braves. Clay and I working on Padres Live, the post-game show, which will be brought to you tonight, as it always is, by Cox Communications. And Padres into a bullpen that's had its struggles.
Yeah, and that's what they wanted to do tonight. They wanted to knock Blair out of this game, get into a bullpen that's struggling right now, and hopefully come back and win this ball game.
When we see you on the post-game show, we'll break down everything that happened here tonight, Colin Ray's outing and whatever else develops here. Also, we're going to take you all around the league, show you some of the best highlights, including a heck of a brawl between the Orioles and the Kansas City Royals. We'll have that, plus you'll hear from your manager, Andy Green. All that and more coming up after the final out. Now let's get you back upstairs. Dick Enberg and Mark Sweeney.
All right, thank you, Michael. Stay tuned. Padres Live after the game. As Ryan Buchter comes in for the Padres here in the 8th inning, he'll start at the top of the order with Ender INCIARTE. Just to tag that Arizona win, they started tonight just a half game in front of the Padres, as Buchter's numbers are very impressive. 2.08 ERA and a 153 batting average against his stuff. INCIARTE, Arnaud, and Freeman for the Braves here in the 8th. Hanging on to a 3-2 lead. They've led since the 3rd inning when they scored 2 to open a 3-1 advantage. 2-1.
Well, this series has to have different meaning for Ryan Buchter, formerly in the Atlanta Braves organization, not getting a shot. Feeling good about this.
You see his talent. You just wonder why this kid was laboring in the minor leagues for so long. 3-1. Both Myers and Wallace in at the corners, and a strike. 3-2. Now they can back up. A strikeout, safe on a fielder's choice, and scored back in the 3rd, and he singled to right field the last time. Back through them. Oh, what a nice stab by Buchter. He was off balance, falling toward first, and had to gather himself. Awkward at first, but he made the play. Yeah, the Zombies love that kind of play, you know, because they walk funny, those Zombies.
Yeah, they do, and they have a tough time getting their arm up over their head, but Ryan Buchter does not.
Ooh, look what I found.
That was a nice play. See the reaction, and then falling off to that third base side makes it difficult. He's not really in a great fielding position, but good reactions by the left-hander.
As soon as you release that ball, you're part of the infield.
Yep.
Darno, 1 for 3, bounced into a double play the last time, but did single in a run back in the 3rd. That's the difference in the game right now. No, that made it 2-1. Then the sac fly by Markakis with Darno scoring is the difference in the game. That's a strike. See the article in the Union Tribune today praising the Padres and their green energy program. I mean, it's really some exciting information that surrounds what they've done this year at Petco Park, starting with the LED lighting and saving incredible amounts of energy. There's 40% less energy with the new lighting system. 40%.
I'm all for it. And it looks better.
And they have new sinks and toilets, though 50% less water than has been used in the past. How about 390,000 gallons?
Wow.
Fly to center. Jay reading that so well right off the bat and collects the second out. Our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. And looking around the league, Jared Eichhoff of the Phillies, a fine win, out pitching the Cubs 3-2. Todd Frazier hits his 19th for the Southsiders in Chicago, and a 10-5 loss to Washington. And Adam Duvall of the Reds, this young third baseman, hitting a lot of home runs, 17 now.
And he came from the Giants organization, and he has been tremendous in the Cincinnati Reds uniform.
Freddie Freeman has walked, singled, and grounded out. One more note on the energy saving here. What they're doing now is they're taking the cooking oil from the concessionaires after the game. They collect it and they use it, recycle it as biofuel for the lawnmowers.
Wow.
For the grounds crew.
And Matt Balo and his staff can use it.
And even the grass clippings, they send those off to composting sites. So, you know, tip of the Padre cap to ourselves.
I agree.
Conscious about energy saving and leading the way in the majors. Two out, bases empty here in the 8th. 2-1. Freeman laces that one, but very foul down the left field line. A lot of power the other way. That's into the second deck.
I heard Ryan Buchter say to Mike Pomeranz on SD Live that he likes to read the hitters and how they react to his fastball. Very aggressive with his fastball. See if he goes upstairs with this one.
Fouled it back. Fact that the previous fastball, Freeman was late, so he figures, well, if he's late on that, I'm not going to throw him a breaking ball and speed up his
Yeah,
back.
exactly right. But also with that fastball, not to get away with it, just located in a different spot. Looked like Freeman was really locating that one down in the strike zone that he can handle a lot easier.
2-2. And again, he just pecks that one foul and stays alive. Defensive swing. A rooftop shot brought to you by Pinnacle on the Park.
Oh, what a beautiful shot.
It's such a satisfying experience just to see a Major League Baseball field. Over, but just off the plate on the cutter. That one looked like a strike halfway and it moved off the corner.
Yeah, working that edge and then off the plate. You can see Derek Norris trying to pull that back.
Full count to Freeman. High fly ball, left center. Jay retreats. Warning path. Wall. And off the top of the wall. Freeman continues on way to third base for a triple. And we'll see whether or not that ball touched a fan or went into the first row. It looked as if it was right off the top of the wall. As Jay unable to make the play, and that ball really carried. Here we get another look.
Oh, just off his glove, and you see it hitting the top of the fence.
And Karam's back. It hit on the edge of the fence, the front edge. And they're going to review it as they do any potential home run. But from that angle, it appears that'll be a triple. Boy, we were mentioning a lot of power to the opposite field for Freeman.
Well, he does have that power. But I thought John Jay had a beat on that. Well-timed jump and just barely off his glove.
And he may have deflected it enough so it didn't go into the seats for a home run.
Now the crew chief on the right, Ted Barrett. Second base umpire, Will Little, on the cans.
That should be pretty easy to call. And he points to third base, a triple.
Well, again, John Jay with that jump just barely off his glove and off the top of the wall.
That's one of the reasons they reduced the height of the wall to just 8 feet to make for what could be spectacular plays. And that was the difference by just touching it between a home run and a triple. That's a big run out there in a 3-2 game here in the 8th inning, 2 outs. And now Buchter trying to take care of the left-handed hitting Markakis.
Well, credit the fans out there too, not getting in the way of John Jay.
Fastball inside. Markakis doubled in a run in the first inning, knocked in another with a sac fly in the third, and he walked in the 6th inning. So he's officially 1 for 1 tonight. Barrels the fastball at the knees at 93. Clubhouse meeting with himself.
Those are important meetings.
You bet they are. tough hitter. Leads in RBIs for the Braves. Another strike. Oh, that's well placed on the Black. Buchter trying to check the Braves here, keep the score at 3-2. Line to left. Upton was shading toward the line and makes the catch. Oh, was he in perfect position? That's a wrong field double most of the time, but Upton was way over near the foul line and denies Markakis. Padres come up, down 3-2.
I want to hit them because they're not meant for you to do anything to them. So a lot of times I'm trying to hit the fastball, or maybe even if it's fastball split slider, I might try to pick out fastball and slider. If I see spin and it's up, I might try to hit that pitch and then take away the split because that's his go-to putaways.
That was an early look at tonight's all-new SD Live featuring Brett Wallace tonight after Padres Live on Fox Sports San Diego.
Doesn't that co-feature Mike Pomerantz?
Does he do a tremendous job on that show?
He's the best. Jim Johnson, the veteran right-hander, he's been roughed up this year. He's 0-4 with a ERA over 7. First ball hunting is Solarte and thrown out by Darno. 1 pitch, 1 out. Padres trailing 3-2 here in the home half of the 8th. Here comes Melvin Upton. Single and a sac fly. That was a big play in the game. Bases loaded. Casey Kelly came in to relieve starter Aaron Blair, and Upton hit it a long way into the right field corner, and Markakis made an outstanding catch racing into the wall down by the Sony sign.
Well, that was a difference maker to this point. Really nice defensive play by the right fielder for the Atlanta Braves.
And here it is in case you're just joining us. Bases loaded now, 1 out. This could have been a grand slam off the bat. And with that wall coming up to greet him, instead of a grand slam, it served as a sac fly. Upton's 25th RBI of the season. Former Brave. Like to do some damage here. Time running out in the Padres. In 15 2/3 innings, Johnson has given up a couple of runs. 16 hits and 13 runs. So the hits that he has allowed have come in bunches with men aboard. Swing and a miss. High heat at 93. 2 out here in the 8th. And a reminder, our game is presented in HD by Sony. And with 2 gone, bases empty, Brett Wallace will bring his home run bat to the plate. He's 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Off-speed curveball at 76. Rodney and Thornton in the Padre pen. Padres take the lead or tie. It'll be Rodney. 2-0. The Wallace, you just heard him in that little clip of the full interview to follow our telecast tonight about how he thinks and tries to eliminate a pitch. What do you think he's looking for here?
Yeah, that's one of those things. I think he's looking for that sinker elevated. He got one. Now the hard thing, a commitment, especially with a 2-seamer that's going away from you, and then the high release point by Jim Johnson. Why they induce so many ground balls. It's so hard to get underneath that 2-seamer.
Well, the bullpen has really been stout for the Braves tonight. They have not allowed a base run. 3-1. Kelly came in with the bases loaded, the sacrifice fly. He retired all 5 men he faced. Chris Withrow retired the side in order in the 7th, and now Johnson has gotten the first 2 men in the 8th inning. 3-1. Look for his pitch. Grounded into the shift. Out in shallow second right field is Johnson. And another 1-2-3 inning. That's 11 in a row retired by the bullpen of the Braves. Ball brought to you by Pinnacle on the Park. Make your new home right here. Visit pinnacleonthepark.com for details. By Petco, your complete pet store. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealers. At the top of the 9th inning, the Braves in front 3-2. Colin Ray with an outstanding start tonight. 7 innings, allowed 3 runs and 6 hits. But the Padres trail 3-2 as Matt Thornton comes in. 3rd Padre pitcher to work the 9th inning. Kelly Johnson, A.J. Brzezinski, and young Daniel Castro to face the veteran left-hander.
Well, the left-hander's last work was Sunday against the Rockies. Inning of work, 1 strikeout. See his 5th appearance on the year.
Trying to hold the Braves here in the 9th. Hope the Padres can rally in the home half of the 9th. The bouncer left side. Ramirez gobbles it up, and there's 1 away. Good hustle by Johnson, but 1 away. Brings up Przinski. He was lined to left, singled, and grounded into a 6-3 double play. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Padres have scheduled Norris, Ramirez, and the pitcher's spot. And what was not considered a strength of this Atlanta team, the bullpen certainly has shined tonight. Kelly, Withrow, and Johnson retiring 11 in a row. Just misses ball 1. And young Vizcaino, he's their closer. One hopper. Solarte camped out there in shallow right. 2 away. Well, you hit the ball that hard and you're an easy out. That's got to be frustrating. So Przinski gone. That'll bring up Castro. He's 0 for 3. So when you only win 16 games, there are not a lot of saves in the book. Vizcaino has 6 to lead the team. Should Castro keep it going, Jeff Francoeur is in the on deck circle. High and away.
Well, just if you're wondering, Vizcaino has given up a home run this year in his 23 innings of work.
One ball, 2 strikes now to Castro. And another foul, about the same spot. Chopped foul. It remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Final game of the homestand tomorrow, fans. And if you don't have tickets, join us here on Fox Sports San Diego. Noon start for Padres Live, the pregame show. Drew Pomeranz will endeavor to continue his outstanding pitching for the Padres as he goes for his 6th win against Julio Teheran of the Braves. Center field. Jay right there for a couple of steps and makes the catch, and now it'll be the Padres' turn. Last of the 9th, 1 to tie, 2 to win. couple of outstanding outfield plays made in the game tonight by Markakis and Jay. And here's our Carl's Jr. star of the game. Aaron Blair goes 4 1/3 innings to be the star of the game. Allows 2 runs and 6 hits. Generous star of the game. Our panel of judges enamored of the man from Las Vegas.
Yes.
Good for him. Give him a double burger. Well, here is a very talented right arm. In fact, what were you saying? That the Braves feel he'll be in the All-Star game?
They do. They think this is their lone All-Star that's going to be performing here in San Diego.
Arodys Vizcaino.
Only a 2-pitch pitcher, but that fastball gets up to triple digits.
Derek Norris starts it for the Padres and takes the fastball at 97. Ball 1.
And when you see that high velocity, your one thought is let him supply the power. Try to keep your swing as short as possible.
34 strikeouts in 23 innings. That ball hit well by Norris, way back in left center, and touch 'em all. You called it, Mark Sweeney. Let him supply the power, and right to the sweet spot of the bat of Norris, and he drills his 7th home run of the season to tie it here in the 9th.
Well, the fastball and the short swing by Derek Norris. This is beautiful approach. Set your foot down early and go to hacking.
A whole new ball game as Norris ties it up with that drive to left center. Here's Ramirez. He takes the breaking ball for a strike.
And he brought some energy to this building. What a sound.
Vizcaino, the face of disappointment. Into the hole and through. Ramirez with a base hit. So the winning run aboard for the Padres with no one out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And we're going to have a pinch hitter or pinch runner for Ramirez.
Now it looks like Jankowski has come out on the on-deck circle.
Now he's not going to pinch run. They're going to let Ramirez carry the winning run and give him a chance to swing the bat, Jankowski.
Back-to-back sliders to Ramirez.
Jankowski may be up there to sacrifice. He, of course, is an outstanding bunter. Get that winning run in scoring position.
I think this gives you so many options if you're Andy Green. Lay down the bunt, but also the speed element comes into play.
Squares and takes a strike. The home run by Derek Norris traveled 409 feet. A 3-all tie here in the home half of the 9th, and the winning run aboard, Ramirez. On deck, the top of the order, John Jay.
If you're going to lay a bunt down in this situation, bunt it right back to the pitcher. Just soften it up just a little bit.
Or if you get it toward the first base side, that's the...
So many times in this scenario, Dick, you see those pitchers handle the bunts, and they launch them down the first base line.
Darno at the cut of the grass at third. Of course, Freeman has to hold the runner. There goes the runner, and no throw. Ramirez with a sneak steal. No one expecting that. Got a big break from Vizcaino, who may still be wondering how could he throw a tying home run and not concentrating on the runner at first, and Ramirez walks to second base.
Well, it was a breaking ball. Good take by Jankowski getting that bat back, but you saw Brzezinski come out of his crouch just a little bit. He was trying to pounce on that bunt. No way of him throwing out Ramirez with that slider in the dirt.
That's the 5th stolen base, and now that changes the whole strategy. You bunt him over to third and win the game on an out.
Well, now you want that hard bunt to the third baseman.
Way inside, 2-1. A shocker for the Atlanta Braves fans that Vizcaino has been so dominating. Comes in and first man he faces ties the game, and now he's got the winning run at second and no one out here in the 9th. Oh, pushes it really hard and foul. So 2-2.
Well, he was late showing that bunt.
Wonder about that. I mean, if that's what you're up there to do, to sacrifice, you got to give yourself up.
You got to give yourself up, and it's doing the fundamentals. Now he has to swing the bat.
Two balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt, gets away, and on to third, Ramirez. The breaking ball skids away from Przinsky, and the Padres get a break. The winning run 90 feet away with no one out. Now let's watch the strategy.
You wonder if Vizcaino is flustered because of that Derek Norris home run. Now you see that spiked breaking ball getting by Przinsky. Easily Ramirez gets to third base.
And we'll see now whether they load the bases. Often that's the case, or if they bring an outfielder in and use a 5-man infield.
Infield in. Only one thought on the Braves' mind.
3-2 to Jankowski. Fouls it off.
Now if you're Ramirez, you just got to see it through the infield. You're not going to go on contact with no outs.
After Jankowski would be Jay at the top of the order, with Myers or Kemp to follow. Home run, Derek Norris. Electric drive to tie it up here in the 9th. And now at third, Ramirez with no one out. Way outside, ball 4. And it's time now for the Bill Howell play of the game. We waited till the 9th inning, and delivering the play of the game, Derek Norris. A long home run to left center field to tie it up. Number 7 on the season for the Padre catcher. Our Bill Howell play of the game. Infield, of course, staying in. They're trying to cut off the run at the plate. John Jay with a chance to win it. No one out. Oh, my. Big cut is Jankowski with defensive indifference. Moves to second base, so that takes away any play there. Not that that would be a play. It's all trying to cut down Ramirez at home plate.
Well, with those numbers, I'm surprised Brian Snitker is even pitching to John Jay in this situation.
Very good point. Yeah, 0-2. Just rearing back and firing a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, that's good carry in the zone. You've seen that spiked slider as well. Probably going to sit on a fastball here. Just get on top. Easier said than done.
Line drive caught by the shortstop Castro. Well, he was in the right place. That ball hit right on the button, but a line out for the first out.
How about the veteran shortstop? A line drive to shortstop. Watch Ramirez's reaction. That one step towards the plate and diving back. That would have been disastrous if he gets doubled up. It's your natural reaction to take that step forward towards home plate, but his reaction getting back to the base.
So one out, and Will Myers in the driver's seat. A walk and a single, 1 for 3 for Myers. And he lines it. Fair ball! The game is over. Myers with a walk-off single, and the Padres rally in the 9th for a 4-3 win.
The only question about the ball off the bat, would it stay fair? And Myers lands it 3-4 feet inside the foul line, and the Padres win it 4-3. We're going to hang on to get a comment from Wil Myers as soon as he's able to extricate himself from his teammates. A clothesline winning base hit, and Matt Kemp chasing him out of the dugout to first base. With Kemp at the on-deck circle. You're not going to win that race.
Well, you got to love the reaction. This will speak it to it all. Time to celebrate.
The Padres taking the first two of the series, and you have to feel a bit for the Atlanta Braves, don't you? They just can't seem to win a game. They bring in their ace closer, and he's able to get only one out, gives up a home run to tie, a single to Ramirez. He's not focused, so Ramirez steals second, goes to third on a wild pitch, and then gives up the winning line drive base hit to Myers. Well, 22,198. Maybe you ought to bring back the zombies tomorrow for the noon game. Do they ever come out during day hours?
I love the zombie night.
Let's go down and see what Wil Myers has to say. Julie?
All right, thanks so much, guys. Wil Myers, you know, it's zombie night tonight here at Petco Park, and you certainly resurrected this game. I think you brought it back to life. Talk to me about what you were looking for on that pitch.
You know, I was just looking for a fastball right there. I saw him throw John Jay 3 of them, so I was just looking dead red on the fastball right there.
Derek Norris hits a home run, bottom of the ninth, and then Ramirez with a stolen base, Jankowski with the walk. What does that say about this team chipping away and putting it together in the late innings?
You know, it was good. I mean, it was just a good team win. You know, Colin threw the ball well. Everybody did a great job right there, and to be able to come back like that was great.
It sure was. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, guys.
All right, thank you, Julie. Wil Myers delivers the winner. Derek Norris with the tying home run. Padres Live, the postgame show coming up with Mike Pomerantz after we pause for these words.
Well, when we see you in the postgame show, we'll hear more from the guys who are able to pull one out in the bottom of the ninth. Also, you're going to get a chance to hear from Andy Green on his team's walk-off win, and we'll take you around baseball for all the highlights in the league. Back in moments.